Welcome to another episode of I'm Ready to Face the Mirror. I'm Lalli, and today I brought a good dear friend of mine, Bailey. Bailey, go ahead and say hi.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Yeah, let them know. What we're doing here is I am interviewing people in my life that knew me before brain injury, met me after brain injury, and we're having real, vulnerable, honest conversations, uncut, all of that deal on what it was like for them so that we can share and model the example of the importance of survivor, caregiver, friend, colleague conversations. So there's a lot to be learned here. So Bailey here, when I had my third brain injury of an 8 month time period, when I had 4 and 16 months, Bailey is has been a great friend of mine, and he was an employee of mine. I used to be the valet manager at Paradise Valley Country Club. And Bailey was one of kind of my first hires. And so he knew me before brain injury, and he was there the day I took the clothesline rope to the throat. The day I did die. And although nobody that day knew that, including myself, it took me 3.5 years to remember it. But Bailey has watched me go through this journey in some pretty profound ways, because he had to. He saw a lot of the personality changes. Two, he saw my abilities at work changed and everything else. So, Bailey, thanks for joining me today, and
Yeah,
thanks for
of
being
course.
willing to have this conversation, brother.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, never thought this journey would turn into this. That's for sure. And so Bailey, when let's talk before brain injury, okay?
Yeah.
What would you or like what would you say if you were to be asked, like, what would be the pre brain injury, post brain injury, like what did you notice, like what was the differences that happened there for you?
A lot. I would say the biggest change was just like I would say your overall just kind of demeanor and mood. Because like obviously before it, you were always happy, joking, like just constantly having a good time with the guys at work and everything, just people, members, whatever. And it was like just obviously one of my favorite bosses to work for. And then post it obviously like obviously when you took the clothesline, the immediate after fact wasn't like there like that day. It changed a little over time, but once you kind of came back, you could tell like it was like the processing was a little takes a little longer. Like the demeanor was a little more quiet, like not
Mm,
serious, but it like it seemed like it was just taking more brain power to get things done, so you weren't always in an upbeat mood.
right,
And
right.
so, because I remember you told me too after you were like, dude, like I my headspace isn't just here all the time. Like it's I can't like focus all like on a lot of things. So he's like,
Yeah.
if I'm asking certain questions or whatever, like just understand, like I'm trying.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so,
And this is where I'm ready to face the mirror, because I'm already having emotions come up with this one. Because, for me, in this instance, some of the other ones that I've done have been more with people who knew me before or knew me after. And this is like really seeing, like that I was seeing more than I thought I was, right?
yes,
That
yeah.
that you could see that I went from being such a high energy person. I mean, man, was I a high energy person.
Yes.
I think people need to understand that part, right? Like
Yeah, like it
if you were
literally
to
went from
describe
like
the before me, how would you describe me?
I mean, it's similar to now, but obviously now is even still I feel a little reserved from back then. Like you just there was constantly like that positive, just like let's go, we're going, moving. Like obviously as valets, we're running for cars, all that. Like we would be like racing each other back and forth from cars on purpose, like just seeing each other like across the parking lot, just like make eye contact and we just go. type
Yeah,
of
we
like
had
just
such a good time, dude.
and
And I miss those days. But go
oh
on.
yeah, but like it was always just there was never a day that you weren't usually in a good mood, and you were always coming in making sure that not only the members obviously having a good time and members having that like member like employee kind of relationships, but also just the other employees. Like everybody had a good time if you were there.
No, I appreciate that, brother. That's a the mirror is always it's not always a negative thing. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing as well. So I appreciate that reflection, and yeah, and I want people to understand like yeah, I'm a positive guy now, but like they're seeing me on chapter 30 of this journey, and I was a beyond positive guy. Like I was
Yes.
an Energizer bunny. I was running a valet that was insanely
Yes.
busy. It's you guys saw his reaction. It was insane. I was running 7 to 10 miles a day, literally, and to running a nonprofit and hosting an open mic and performing and being a dad and being a husband, and I was crushing it, man. I was on top of the world. I was able to do it all, really. And then this happened, and the first two brain injuries, I think you guys probably noticed a shift in my mentality a bit, but I don't think it was as abrupt, and you tell me, as the third one.
I I'm, I'm trying to remember because I obviously I knew the clothesline and
Yeah,
then the
yeah. The
car
first
accident.
two, yeah, the first two was I hit my head on my birthday, and then
No,
Jeanette got
yeah,
rear-ended.
yeah,
So I remember Kenny and I got in a couple arguments, and I had to be like, "Hey, man, like I've got a concussion. Like I need you to understand. Like I'm a little bit more hot-tempered right now, so I need you not to be hot-tempered right now."
yes. Yeah.
But
Kenny and his little
love KK, but
yeah.
but yeah, and then afterwards to hear that that I was distant. I didn't have the ability to gather thoughts. I wasn't functioning very well. I was processing very slowly. And I'm willing to bet that my energy levels looked a lot lower.
It definitely did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed you. It's not that you weren't trying to do the work and stuff. It was just more of it's harder to be that when you're not really yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was also doing full-time therapies at the same time, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would come in just exhausted from therapies, which to me just speaks to a major disconnect to brain injury in the medical community. Is It's like, why do they have people doing 3 or 4 therapies a day? Like we have a brain battery, like we run out.
Right.
But yeah, and the agitation. I know the agitation, the irritability became an issue at work, right?
A little bit. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it probably hit James probably more than it hit me because obviously him being the assistant manager was he probably took more responsibility on, and so
Yeah, he was a bigger stressor of mine.
yeah, and so that's where like obviously my side I'm just at the time I was just the seasonal full-time employee and
Hmm.
so I kind of was just I'm there to try and help whatever I can and make try to make your job easier, but obviously it's dependent on whatever was going on today.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is one of the things that we're talking about here is like beforehand there was a very consistent,
Yes.
right? I was very, you knew what you were going to get from me. Like, oh, Lolly's coming in. It's going to be a good day. But after brain injury, it was very
It
inconsistent on what was happening. And
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, it was
So,
very back like there'd be a day you come in, you'd see him smiling, everything, you're like, okay, cool, like he's in a good mood, we're gonna have a good day, all that. And then there'd be days you'd walk in and you'd still be smiling, but it wouldn't be like you could tell it was like a forced smile, kind of like a like when you're going through like something, like if someone's going through something hard, but they're just still at work, they're smiling, but you could see it in like their eyes and that they're just like they're not in it.
you could tell I was really struggling inside.
Yeah, and so
What
there'd
was
be
that
those
like for
days.
you?
It's
Like, what was it like for you to watch me struggle like that?
It's not the easiest thing because obviously, like, you want that person to kind of get back to themselves. You want them to be happy and back to who they were. And obviously, like, no one knew what you were experiencing because obviously, until what, like 3, 4 years later, you probably finally discovered everything. But
I'm still learning things,
yeah,
brother. Like I'm still learning. It's been a wild journey, but yeah, we definitely did not know what was going on, right?
yeah,
And I mean, I was trying to come into work and I was trying to communicate to people what was going on, but it felt a lot like people were pretty committed to misunderstanding me. Like they just wanted me to be better, and I got it. I
yeah,
understood that it was hard to watch me struggle, but I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see the struggle. So, I know that the irritability definitely became an issue. There were days where, and I'm going to do a video on this sometime soon. Is just like because we were pulled in so many different directions, right? I always
yes,
have that walkie talk, that radio in my ear. Whether people wanted to go orders from whatever of the 4 or 5 restaurants to go from, or wine
yeah,
orders, right?
yeah.
Or golf bags, or banquets, or whatever it is we're doing to direct people. I really had a lot of multitasking to do, and quite frankly, brother, I don't know how I did that for 2 years.
I yeah, even in the grill I'm at right now, like it's sometimes like I get like I'm trying to make a smoothie, make somebody a quick coffee or something like that while taking an order, while also trying to expo the food and all that. It's like that's a lot as well, and it's just obviously valet is kind of a little bit of everything else as well.
Yeah. And so like I remember some days I would get so angry at that earpiece.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember me getting really angry at the earpiece?
Yes. Good old good old Mark just yelling in the earpiece constantly.
Man, or just somebody would get on and just blast your eardrum out, right? And
Yes.
and the thing for me is like as a brain injury survivor, like the lights and the sounds were very hard for me. So like working at nights, the way that I was working, every time those cars would come around and those lights would hit me,
Yeah.
man, you might as well have just been punching me in the face. Like it was terrible.
Yeah.
And then the sounds of the because obviously, as you knew, and you would have to have the walkie-talkie in your ear several times, that you're trying to have a conversation with a member,
Yeah.
and so when you're trying to have a conversation with a member and everyone's talking in your ear or they're just
Yeah.
chatting, like, and you've got to try to, oh man, I couldn't differentiate any of that out. And so there would be times I remember I would literally smack it out of my ear
I
with
I
like,
would I would
what?
do the same exact thing where like I'd be having a conversation and if somebody they're just talking in the earpiece about like golf or whatever, I would just like yank it out and just like take it out. And the
Yeah,
and the and the member would just be like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, golf is just having a full conversation in my ear while we're talking." So,
yeah, can't do that. And so I remember actually looking at you and looking at a couple other guys and being like, "Hey guys, I need you to run this today. I need
yeah,
you to be on the walkie-talkie." And I mean, now that I say that and I look back, I'm glad that I didn't feel the need to man up.
yeah,
I was already manning up enough just by showing up to work, trying to provide for my family at the time. But like to be able to say, "Hey, I can't do this. Like I need you guys." And if I remember correctly, that's generally right about when I would go take my anxiety medication
I think so.
because I'd go into a pure panic attack. And which was also a very wild experience for me, brother, to go to a place where anxiety medications in my previous life, they would really have an impact on me. I would forget a lot of things, etc. But after brain injury, it was like that was the one thing that would just calm me down. Like it was, if I hit that point, it would just calm me down um enough to get through whatever it is I was going through.
Yeah.
But the stimulation that was going on there was so hard. I remember particularly one night I was working with James, and we were working the night when they do the Christmas trolleys, right? And the
Oh
kids are
yeah.
running around, and we're busy, and James was running up, and I had just reached my capacity. I had completely, like, my body and brain had shut down. And I remember just staring off into space, and I was staring into the circle, and cars were coming around, and kids are playing in the circle, and I'm not moving. And James was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He like ran up and he like got the kids out of the circle. He goes, hey, brother, maybe you should go sit down. And there was a couple times I really had to go sit down.
Yeah, like definitely there were days I could notice you would run and you would get cars and that, but after a little bit you're like, all right, I gotta you're just like I'm gonna do some office stuff for a little bit, like just to sit and kind of have a one track focus versus
Yeah.
trying to process all the different areas that you have to.
I was trying to hide, bro.
Yeah,
I was trying to hide from all of these sensory attacks. So like, all right, is there anything like what would you say for you? What was the hardest part about, I mean, because you were there. I mean, there's the hardest part about like what was the hardest part about like just watching this happen, like this brain injury, and it because you just watched me spiral. You just watched me
yeah,
spiral out.
yeah. It I'd say the hardest thing was genuinely just seeing that like happiness kind of be gone. Like, because obviously, like, you're there, you're happy, like, you have your family and everything. That's kind of there, but it's not you there. It's like, it's almost like there was another kind of person inside of you that was just like the more like neutral side of just like not like just being there, just like going through the motions, not exactly putting that effort or anything. Well, you're putting effort in, but not your normal like being the energetic, happy go lucky, like just always having jokes and everything with people. It's like you had to either force it or you weren't there. And unfortunately, like I hate to say it, there were days you just couldn't be there.
I just couldn't be there, and there were a lot of days I just couldn't be there,
Yeah.
and I couldn't force it, and it was a hard time in my life, brother. I honestly don't
Yeah.
know how I did it, and like even though in that time period I was literally telling everybody I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought I was better than I really was.
Yeah.
And a lot of us do, man. A lot of us think we're better than we really were. And, I didn't know what my reality was at all. And so it is really powerful to hear that you could see how disconnected I was from myself. And I could imagine that one of the hard parts is that you didn't know how to have this kind of conversation with me.
Gonna be honest, I still don't exactly, but like but I'm more open with obviously stuff like this now, but
Yeah.
it's the truth. It's like it's not an easy conversation to have with this whole thing, especially with someone going through it because maybe they already know they're trying to go through it, but they don't want to hear somebody else's take on what they're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a big part of this journey is denial,
Yeah.
because we fracture in so many different ways. I mean, I know that we would be there talking, and you and I had many deep talks. And I was just sitting here, like, trying to constantly help you understand what was happening to me,
Yeah.
And the wild part is all of that effort to be understood, to express, because I've always been so expressive. I think that helped lead me into what I've been doing, and all of the lives that have started to be changed by me sharing my experiences, and not recognizing that I was one of the few people that kept my articulation, and truly what a gift that was. Although at the time I couldn't hear that at all. I mean, everybody's, well, you're so articulate, and you sound great, and you look great. Man, remember how mad that made me? But
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I could only imagine, and I think it's the survivors out there, your caregivers, your loved ones, they actually do see more than we think they do. The problem is nobody knows how to have the conversation. How do they show up and tell you you're somebody completely different, especially if you're not ready to accept it? especially if we show up and we attack back, which I did often, then I would gaslight you because I couldn't accept it, and it was no fault of my own that that's how I was showing up because I was constantly doing the work too, I mean, if there's one thing that I know I represent to anyone in my life is somebody who never stopped. They
Yeah.
never gave up and they just kept going no matter what the doctors said. I kept looking at any care that I possibly could get. And so, I mean, Bailey, you were there the day I had my head basically ripped off, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a
Let them know what that was like to watch.
that
If you care to. If
no,
it's too much, it's all
I'm
good.
open to it. It's like obviously I didn't exactly see the whole exact moment because I was talking with the member and we were having our conversation while you were chasing down for the car to get the key fob to him. But like I just remember like I looked over and I just saw a shoe in the air. Not on you, just in the air. Like
Yeah, so you literally physically saw my shoe go up in the air.
yes. And I like looked up and I was like, "Oh, I think he just fell." I think that's what I told her. And she's like, "Oh, did he?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm gonna go check on him." And so I was like, start running. That's when you were kind of like getting up and like putting your shoe on and like coming back, like half laughing, obviously, because like you're just like
Delirious.
yeah. And I was like, "Yo, are you all right, man? Like, you doing okay?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just like cut the wire." And obviously, when you first did it, there was like the little bit of like red from it, but like as the like you were there for I think maybe another 45 minutes that day of work because obviously I think the member was like, "No, you should really get checked out. Just make sure." And then
Yeah.
by the time that happened, it like really like it started to bruise up all through your neck, and it was like you're like, "Wow, you caught that wire."
Oh man, I caught that wire in full
Yeah.
speed, bro. I wish
Yeah.
I would have saved. I wish I would have saved. I had both camera views. The one from the valet where it looked where I was running by the flagpole, but I was like, oh, that one didn't see anything. But what
Yeah.
that one would have represented was how fast I was
The
running.
effort
Like,
and the speed that you were going for.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I think people just really don't understand how freaking fast I am. Like, like, I mean, that was always the talk of the club is Lalli is so fast and look at him running the car,
Yeah.
I did
And
that because I was in a wheelchair 4 times as a kid and, I appreciated the ability to be able to run, but I definitely won't be running through no parking spots no more. That's for
yeah.
damn sure.
Don't get me wrong. I would never let the members know that you were that fast. I was like, he's quick. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, of course. Why would
Yeah.
why would we give the credit?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was always the battle on. I remember one
Yeah.
time, Maison tried to race. He wanted to race me, and so he raced, and I won, and he was fast.
Yeah.
But man, my old age started to catch up with me, and I pulled my hamstring.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
there's a couple times where I could definitely tell like I was running like I could feel just something was gonna turn wrong. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm taking it. I'm like right here. I'm gonna take it off a little bit."
Yeah, yeah, and so see, like people who are watching this, I want you to understand. Like, I took that clothesline rope full speed. Like, I didn't pump the brakes. I didn't get a chance to
Yeah.
pump the brakes. It was all a new parking lot. My eyes were down, trying to decide where I was going, and by the time I pulled my eyes up, I was already on top of that rope. I
Yeah,
did
like
make one motion that saved my life, but
yeah. Just I
this
think
one,
the main motion was like the almost like trying to like slide into third base essentially.
I was
Like was
trying to get
going.
underneath it, man.
Yeah.
If I would have been real smart, I would have slid. Like, I would have taken. I would have. Hindsight
Dropped, yeah.
2020, it would have been worth it. It would have
Yeah.
whatever would have happened, it would have been worth it. But yeah, I tried to throw my arm up to hit the rope, and
Yeah.
the hand didn't get. But this motion, if I had taken that like this, bro,
Yeah.
that would have. I mean, I I know I've told you that, I remember dying that day. 3.5 years later, when the brainstem
Yeah.
woke back up and I started going through the contortions and all that. That to me, when I watch the video, it's still wild to think that when I'm on the ground for the 6 seconds, that I'm not there, you
Yeah.
know. And it's so interesting that you say, because I don't know if you remember. Do you remember me saying I'm here, but I'm not here
Yeah.
all the time, right?
Yeah. There was
all
that
the
was
time.
like
I
that was like the days that you were like the smile, but like the forced smile. Like you would come in, you're like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm not here today. I can't, like, I can do it, but I really just need help with it.
yeah, like I'm here, but I'm not here. And what I was really trying to express is that my spirit, man, had fractured. Like I had literally was behind myself. Like in one of the books that I listened to was called a book. It was called a book called A Ghost in My Brain by Dr. Clark Elliott, and he talks about that. And that's when I started doing the vision therapy. Remember when I started doing the glasses?
Yeah.
And so he talked about how he felt like somebody was following him, and and I kept saying I'm here but I'm not here. And then when I came back, man, when I relived my death, man, my I like it was loud. Like I like the voice in my head was loud. The things I could feel were so intense and sensitive. Like it was like it literally felt like my spirit reconnected to myself, and I'm exploring that belief system. I really am starting to believe that for us we fracture so much in our identity, period, that we actually do disassociate in our spirit, and it's like our spirit can't communicate with us very well. It's because you said it, man. It was like I was someone else was in my body, like it was someone else.
Yeah.
Because I it was like I wasn't in it.
Yeah, there were just days it just wasn't you. Like,
It
like
just wasn't me, and so and this is also a really helpful thing to have in these discussions to help people really see, man. I was not okay.
yeah.
When all this happened, it was, I remember I was moderately to severely cognitively impaired in processing information, problem solving, memory recall, memory retention, and word finding. Dude, do you remember how my memory?
Yes.
It was like an elephant, right?
Yeah.
Like if I met somebody and it was like their guest and that guest came in a year later, I would still know them even if they weren't with that member. And that was one of the things that really impressed a lot of people. And then when I came back from the accident, which they let me back way too soon,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we all
Like,
felt it.
don't get me wrong. Like, we were glad to have you back, but it was definitely a rushed. Probably you could tell, like, it was kind of rushed for you. Like,
It
you
was
probably,
very rushed for
I'm
me.
sure it was also like you needed the work, you needed the money to pay for whatever was going on, but like it seemed like it was quick.
Workman's comp wasn't working.
Yeah.
They weren't working with me at all, And so, um, yeah, my memory, I remember I came back and like, I would have to be like, hey man, like, who is that?
Yeah.
Okay, give me that name. Like, I know I should know that name. Like, give me
But
that
it's
one.
just, yeah. You're just like, you're like, who was that again? I'm like, it's this, and you're like,
and
okay,
it's
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
people I had known for 13 years.
yeah.
It's like they were like family to me, and I couldn't remember who they were. And that was the memory part, or I don't know if you guys even really noticed this. I was always very punctual before my brain injury, and after brain injury, I started showing up to work later. I
Okay,
started
yeah.
coming in less punctual, and it was like I was always trying to keep up. It's like, how am I late? Like,
Yeah.
it was intense. Did you guys notice that I was starting to come in a lot later?
It was, I wouldn't say it was a lot later, but like obviously from being someone who's always there, like on time, maybe 5 minutes early or something like that, like just to like park your car, get up there, and then you're in like the office ready to go on time or whatever it was, to like pulling up at like maybe 5 7 minutes later than you were supposed
Yep.
to be there, and then coming down the steps or whatever, being in at like 15 minutes later or whatever. It's like it's you could notice a little bit because obviously like we also dealt with that with a little bit with James because the
A
like
lot of it with James.
yeah, and so it was something where it's like we notice it, but we're not gonna say anything to the person, but
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean,
especially
not
not
a
a
lot of people are gonna look at their boss and be like, "Hey, man, you're
yeah.
being late." Like,
Yeah, no, not a lot
um,
of people are gonna say something to their manager or assistant manager, being like, wow, hey, thanks for coming in." Like,
I was always saying something to James, but
yeah,
and I do know that the relationship and the way that I managed, as everybody felt that if it was an issue, they would have brought it up with me, as I would have asked you to, right? Because
yes,
that was my management style. Is let me know,
like,
like let me
yeah,
help.
if they,
If you're not good, I need to know, and if I'm doing something that's making you not good, I need to know. It's my
yes,
job to make sure that we were had a good morale, and we had great morale, man. You
yeah,
know, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed those times, and I'll never forget, like, before the clothesline incident, and when I actually finally realized that I had brain injuries, the first two brain injuries, when my trauma therapist said, "Lalli, like, you've got brain injury, you need to go to the doctor." And I went to the doctor, and the doctor um did the test, and man, it had been a couple months and I didn't know I had lost joy. I didn't know I was coming in and being irritable with you guys. I didn't know, that I like wasn't being my happy-go-lucky self. I mean, I know it wasn't as extreme as the clothesline incident, right? But it definitely was noticeable. And, you know, and I just remember, like, the question was like, do you not experience joy like you normally do? And I like thought to myself, and I was like, I actually don't experience joy at all.
yeah. It,
And
it definitely was. You could tell like that you would have moments of being happy, but it wasn't like joy. It was
I
just
wasn't
like that.
connected to joy. You're
Yeah,
right. Like I could be happy. That's a very valid point, and thank you. And I hope I can remember that to do a video on that one day. Is that I can actually be happy and not connect to joy. And I know that doesn't make sense, but like you could visually see it. You could see I wasn't connecting with myself in the way, which, brother, thank you for that mirror. Like this is why I'm doing this. Like that is powerful for me to hear that you guys really did see me. You just didn't know how to handle me. Is that
100%.
what I'm hearing?
Definitely. And part of it, I will admit, is also obviously when I joined Valet, I was 19 turning 20, and I left when the whole COVID time and I left Valet was I was 24, 25. So like I'm still a kid essentially, like I'm still barely getting through college and even now still going through college, but like it's obviously the difference between me then and me now, like then I, you know, super young, not obviously caring about things, but not putting like my entire like personality to the work because like obviously like I want to have the relationship with the members and the employees and all, but it's also like I'm in college. I'm like thinking like this is a when I first started, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like a 2 3 year job max, and then I was gonna like have my associate's degree and start going to like get a bachelor's or whatever, and
That's how
I'd
it
be
got
like
me,
finding a
dude.
job.
That's how it got me, dude. Like this was good money, great people, lots like just lots of money, like especially when we're talking about jobs, like to be around lots of money and the perks are so great. The people you
Yeah,
get to meet are so cool.
100%.
And yeah, you were a kid, man. You definitely were a kid. And I know that I was a big part of your mentorship, and that really meant,
Yeah,
and I took that seriously. And I took that seriously for a lot of my guys.
yeah.
You were my boys. And so it's still so creepy that Wyatt used to call me daddy, but we're not even gonna go
Well,
there.
okay. You were the one who was trying to make us call you daddy. Well, let's be.
Oh, no, I was not.
You,
Was I?
you were the one who was like initiating it a little bit, but
Oh, that's
obviously like we all
hilarious.
joked with it too.
Oh yeah. Well, it was probably us just being, at the time we
Yeah.
were very boys. We were very much boys.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
in that environment like that's something I feel like it happens. It's just like you kind of obviously we're professional with the membership. We're like very good and happy, but like when it especially back then there were no female valets ever.
Yeah.
Now there's a
It was
couple,
just
but
us. It's just
But
us.
that,
It was me and the college boys.
yeah, essentially, and so obviously a bunch of college boys around each other, just
Yeah.
it bodes, you know, two brain cell identity type of work.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. We had a lot of numbskull moments. That is for
Yeah.
sure. You know, I think we could include. I don't know how anybody was letting me try to jump up on the ledge, let alone. I'm pretty sure I did a backflip off of it one time,
I
off the
I
key
I
box.
I think you may have done that, yes. I
Yeah,
don't think
like
I was there that
just
day, but
yes, we were just. But you know, and that's also why boys are oftentimes the ones with brain injuries, you know.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me. Is there, if there's anything you could share with people that, you know, have somebody that go through a brain injury of some sort, you know, because you didn't know what you didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And now you've had a dear friend and a boss, and you've had to navigate that in very intentional ways, honestly, right? Is there anything that you would share with them or anything you would like to share with me that you haven't been able to share before we wrap it up?
I think the biggest thing is just like obviously like being there for them is a big thing because obviously like they want people to know and they want people to understand and to be there whether you fully understand or you're a 21-year-old who's 22-year-old who's just under like having to see this or like maybe like there's a I think there's like this one guy I saw something about like just sitting in the mud with somebody like sometimes you just need someone to sit in the mud with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did that very well for me many times. I remember just crying and hugging you.
Yeah.
And I have done that for you in other
Yes.
instances. And so I appreciate it in my life, my rule after all of this and the people that I've let go of, and you know is a lot, is reciprocity is the bare minimum.
Yes.
I don't travel on one way roads anymore. And so,
No.
you know, that's why you're still in my life, brother. I wish in more of a capacity, but we're both busy. I know, you know, I know your work schedule. I used to work there, you
Yeah.
know, and, you know, I'm over here, you know, doing the best I can to try to provide for myself financially, you know, doing these kind of things as well. So, you know, I look forward to when we get to catch up with greater capacity, maybe
Yes.
over a lunch or something. You know, we do need to make that a better priority. And yeah, thank you for that message. You know, everybody, we just want to be heard and we want to be supported, and we're going through hell. We're going through hell in a way that you'll never ever understand or experience. And you know, unless you go through it. And so if we do this conversation, we have this conversation so that you can see what it's like for everybody else, what it was like for me to hear how I was actually more seen than I thought I was, and which was a very deep trauma for me, feeling unseen. Because I can feel unseen because there's so many things that they're not seeing and still be seen at the same time. Both can exist. So, Bailey, brother, thank you for loving me. Thank you for
Yeah.
accepting me. Thank you for supporting me through all of this. You know, without you and the guys, I couldn't have made it those extra 2 years to
Yeah.
figure out where I was and that I even needed to leave, you
Yeah.
know? So, uh, I love you, brother.
Yeah. Love you too, bud.
And I look forward to our next conversation.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
everybody, be well, have a wonderful day, and Bailey and I, we out.
We're out of here.